Welcome to the first lesson of the marker course. My name is Vasilia, and first of all, I want to say thank you that you joined the course and you decided to learn something new. Today we're gonna explore different types of markers and the paper we will need to use. If you are new to drawing with markers, you are in the right place. I asked each of you to not buy any materials before the course. I don't support the idea of buying the expensive materials or any materials, especially if you're still not sure if you're gonna use them or not. That's why I offer you first to watch this video and check my marker guide, which I made especially for this course, about different brands and different types of markers, which will be suitable for your budget, for the characteristics which you are searching for different kind of purposes. In this video, I will show you the difference between types of markers. So I don't want to make all these videos too long, because I know that we are busy people and we're just gonna jump right into the practice and short theory. First type of markers, which I started my journey with, the water-based markers. Water-based markers, they're a lot like watercolor. It's very practical for people who enjoy the blendable materials, who like the transparent, soft colors, suitable for people who are into calligraphy or into sketching, illustration. It gives very nice watercolor effect. They can be blendable extra with the water. For water-based markers, you need to use watercolor or mixed media paper. Please don't use any paper less than 200 grams. The paper is very important in the art. Sometimes it's even more important than the media you use. And this is exactly this case. It doesn't matter to buy cheap or expensive markers, but it does matter which kind of paper do you use. If you will take wrong paper, you're gonna make two mistakes. First, you have a chance to spoil the result. Second, you will not enjoy the process.
Let me show you an example. Water-based markers often have the brush tip. It makes the process of drawing with water-based markers similar to the drawing it with watercolor. I would say that these markers are the easiest to blend. You can use two different colors and mix them while they are still wet. For this, you need to go several times at the border of two colors. If the ink is still wet, you can get the very smooth transition. If you need to make a transition between light and dark color, blend the border of two colors with the lighter color several times. Often water-based marker sets have blender marker. It works the same way as a water brush. In both cases, you use the brush to dissolve the color into more transparent one. The brush tip is my favorite type of tips. You can use them for drawing very thin lines, and at the same time, they're perfect for covering bigger surfaces. For this kind of brushes, I use watercolor paper, 300 grams per square meter. You can see that they didn't leak through at all. For comparison, I chose another kind of paper. The thickness of this one is only 80 grams per square meter. You can see that first, the colors don't blend that good anymore. The same happens if I will try to blend it with the water brush. The worst of it is that the markers bleed through the paper.
Second type of markers are alcohol-based markers. Alcohol-based markers are vibrant, the most popular on the market. These markers are best for illustrations, for caricature art, for design. You have to be careful with alcohol markers because they bleed a lot through the normal paper. Sometimes it can be strong smelling alcohol. You cannot blend them with water, and you need special paper for. I was drawing with alcohol markers a long time ago. I couldn't understand how to use these markers properly until I gave myself some time to adapt, and I became braver with the material. So I started to make experiments, and therefore I found out how to do it so I could get the result which I want.
Alcohol markers can have different types of tips. Chisel, bullet, brush, fine tip. I personally prefer brush tip. I believe that it gives smoother blending, but it's mostly about experience. The concept of blending is the same. You need to blend the border of two colors with the lighter one if we talk about dark and light color, and both colors if we talk about the same tones. Because of different kind of tips, you also can get different types of lines, obviously. You can see that even for special paper for alcohol markers, it bleeds through, but for comparing I will show you how these markers work on the paper 80 grams per square meter. Alcohol markers blend better than the water-based markers on such paper, but have a look how much does it bleed.
And the third type of markers, the second favorite of mine, acrylic markers. A huge plus of acrylic markers is that they're super covering. They are opaque. They're permanent when they dry. You can draw on any surface. The paper doesn't really matter when you use acrylic markers, but there are some types of paper which will work better with the acrylic markers. They work almost like paint, like acrylic paint. I was really surprised that such markers exist. If I started my journey with the water-based markers, I continued it with the acrylic markers. And now I use both of the markers to get the results which I want. I use the water-based markers for better blending between the colors, and I use the acrylic markers for adding extra details when I want to highlight something. Acrylic markers work on different kind of surfaces: stones, canvas, paper, glass. Some acrylic markers work on the textile. The minus of them that if you don't store it properly, they can clog and they dry.
In comparison with water-based and alcohol-based markers, acrylic markers are the worst in blending. But still, it's not impossible. Try to blend it while the colors are still wet, layering both of the colors which you need to mix. I usually start to draw with the darkest color, layering the brighter colors above. And I have one dirty life hack for you: smudge it with your finger. And there is a third option. If you have two absolutely contrast colors, use some colors in between to make smoother transition. Acrylic markers also have different kind of tips, but my personal favorite, guess what? Brush tip. They have better control, you can blend it better, and I just really recommend you to get these ones. As I said, acrylic markers work on almost every surface. And even if we use markers on the very thin paper, it doesn't bleed at all. Amazing.
Now you know the basics of the marker types, of the brands, and which paper you need to use. Please keep in mind what other materials you like to draw with. If you like watercolor, most likely you will like the water-based markers. If you like acrylic paints, acrylic markers. If you already tried to draw with some markers and you didn't like it, most likely it was alcohol-based markers. And I would recommend you to try something else. If you never drew with markers, start with budget-friendly options. Don't rush into buying expensive markers while you are just testing. First try with cheap versions, and afterwards you can switch to more expensive. Once you get the skill, you can try whatever you want. You will be unstoppable. Once you're experienced enough, you will know how to fix any mistake. Follow your heart and draw with the markers you liked the best. In the Telegram channel, you will get small exercise for blending. And this week we're gonna draw plants. Don't hesitate to ask questions if you have any. You can ask me directly in the chat or ask me in direct messages. Please have fun. Having fun is the most important thing to do on this course. Follow me on Instagram. Tag me if you plan to post something. I will be super happy to see the works of yours. And if you have any feedback for the course, I will be glad to get it. See you soon.